So I've hit the level cap now in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's beta, and tell you what, I am absolutely impressed with it. I yeah. I'm going to share my thoughts with you, and I'm really interested to hear what you guys think of this new game as well. So we're going to be looking at things like the new audio engine. There's a new 3D audio engine, and I honestly think this is the most impressive thing. I've never played a game with audio like this, but we'll talk more on that later. Going to also be talking about the graphics, the gameplay, the new modes that have been showcased in this beta, and all the other content that we have seen to see whether it's just to basically see where it's going to go and see if we can make any predictions for what's going to happen when the full game comes out. So we're going to start with the new audio engine, because I'm absolutely bowled over by the quality of this. It's just insanely good, alright? We've got crystal clear footsteps, like nothing I've seen before. Not even Rainbow Six, that requires like pinpoint accuracy of hearing things, has anything on this. It gives great situational awareness and it makes it feel real. Like playing through my headphones, it felt like I was there. Nothing else I've ever played or done has felt like that. Now the thing is, the situational awareness that gives is unparalleled. You can track enemies accurately based on whether they're above you, below you, left of you, right of you, in front, behind a wall, or behind you. Like, it's... yeah, I can't find the words to describe it, to be honest. Now what that means is, because you can accurately track people, you can pre-fire effectively, you can make sure you've got the right gun for this engagement. There are so many options for aggression that it opens up, or even for defense, if you chose to camp, that it opens up. It's unreal. So yeah, like, and it's not just the situational awareness it gives, it's the 3D feeling it gives. You can hear gunshots in unparalleled detail, explosions around the map to get an idea of what's going on without having to rely on the death comms telling you someone's been blown up, because you just know. Like, the only thing that's going to make it clear is if a bit of arm falls in front of you, mate. The movement you can hear is class. Like, yeah, the quality of the audio is great, and the 3D awareness that you get, that world it builds inside your head, is amazing. I honestly reckon I could go with a positive KD blindfolded. The audio is that good. That's an idea for a mini-series. That's an idea for a one-off. But anyway, like, yeah. Now, obviously, like, if I were blindfolded though, I won't see the graphics. And I'll admit the graphics have great detail. It's not as bright and vibrant as some people like, me being one. I like the Black Ops style, bright, vibrant, and things, but there's only been a handful of maps, so it's hard anyway to base it off that. We might have a map that's got neon street signs. You know, we might go to Amsterdam and be in the red light district with neon signs in every window, or like, yeah. So it's hard to criticise that. It also helps for concealment though. It's not impossible for you to like hide in plain sight if you don't move and things. I just find it a bit strenuous on the eyes, I guess, because you're having to pick out targets, and because obviously you're looking at a 2D thing, you can't use depth perception to say this is out of place. But it is what it is, I suppose. I'm not going to fault it, because like, that concealment is actually really handy. So yeah, I really like the graphics. The detail's great. Like, you can see the bricks, you can see the cracks in it. The particle effects that you get are great. Like, yeah, and the fact that you get so much smoke from explosions, I find really cool. I'm going to link to that in the gameplay, but that gives you another option for concealment that you didn't previously have. If something explodes, you're going to have to wait for the smoke to clear. Or you can use a grenade in the same way as smoke to give you a brief moment of like visual obscurity to move from maybe one piece of cover to another that gives you a better firing angle without leaving yourself exposed. You know, it's the difference between cover and concealment, I suppose, in that sense. So the particle effects are great. Same with like when bullets hit walls and things. And I don't know whether this bit goes under graphics or gameplay, but there's also like a new suppression effect that you get when you get shot at. You'll probably see that in the gameplay from time to time where a bullet misses you. You get like a bit of a blur going past. Never been shot at, so I don't know whether that's realistic, but the actual feel to that is really cool. Bit unnerving as well, actually. But yeah, so the graphics and the audio though make this an absolutely great game, and the visceral feeling you get playing it is really good. It does feel like you're actually there. It paints a picture. The only thing I can, and bear in mind, this is not a criticism, it's a comment. I'll say that again. It's not a criticism, it's a comment. It's not a criticism, it's a comment, okay? So, the time to kill is really fast. And I had issues with this when I first started playing, alright? Yeah. So I didn't like it at the start, but I do now. What it was, I've just had to change the way I play. I'm usually a run and gun character, but because they've got rid of movements such as slide cancelling and things like that, it was hard to pull off the movement that I used to do. To be honest, all you've got now in terms of movement is bunny hops and things like that, and dive into prone, which, because of how it affects accuracy, isn't really a good offensive move unless you are, say, using it to get to cover a bit quicker. But that's defensive rather than offensive, but you can use that defensive element to get a good position for offense. But the fast TTK, like the TTK was so low, it proved a challenge for me. I quickly adapted my playstyle, don't get me wrong, and I started to have much better games, but I had to consciously change how I was playing. So yeah, but I'm not the only person who found that TTK a bit annoying. Once I tuned off on Thursday night, I tuned into FaZe Callie, who was playing, and she was saying like the time to kill felt inconsistent, which yeah, it does, but at the same time that's down to a skill thing, that's down to your accuracy. So, but in terms of the actual speed of it, I had a slight issue at the start because of how fast it was. You don't have time to respond in a firefight, and it feels more realistic because, to be honest, like 2 to 3 shots from a well-trained soldier, they're all going to hit. You're going to be down for the count, really. So yeah, it makes it harder for everyone, don't get me wrong, but it puts the greater emphasis on positioning and having cover, as opposed to having the fastest reflexes and the best accuracy. Don't get me wrong, that definitely does come into it, but positioning and cover actually outweigh them, whereas in Call of Duty it's usually the other way around. Like normally in Call of Duty I can be out of cover and be getting kills from people dug in pretty deep because I've got the accuracy to get that headshot, even if that's the only bit of them I can see. And the reaction times to do it before they can effectively get hits on that. But yeah, it just meant that I had to adapt my playstyle. I had to be more slow and methodical, and using bursts of speed as a strategy as opposed to being the way I engaged. But it weren't like bonkers. It just changes the way I play. But that happens in most games anyway. There's going to be slight differences in guns and things like that that make you have to adapt to, you know, the new year. So yeah, everything seems balanced, but everything seems overpowered. So I can't criticize anything on that. It's hard to describe, but everything hits really hard. But so did it. It also did. If you ever look at screenshots of the weapon damage and accuracy and things when it came to Modern Warfare 2, I'm talking the original Modern Warfare 2, that's how it was. So I get the feeling that it's actually going to return Call of Duty to like the Modern Warfare 2 days. I just feel that TTK could lead to too much camping later on though. But I mean, when we're looking at content, you're going to see that that's not a huge problem if you utilize what's in the game for you though. So yeah, the other thing I'll say is there does seem to be more recoil than you'd expect from most Call of Duties. Like, it's always a joke I make, but Call of Duty is some of the easiest guns to control the recoil. If you go play, say, Apex, like with the base guns, and obviously you get the attachments for those, same as you get with Call of Duty, so it is an easy comparison to make. But, like, compared to pretty much other games that have more recoil, Call of Duty's always had it lower, made it easier, more accessible to use. Not anymore. Once you get the attachments, it brings it down, but it actually means that there's more emphasis on the attachments you use now as well. And the different feel, even slight differences, make a huge difference in the game. So I'm going to love this customization the next year for Call of Duty. Well, actually, it's a couple of years now, isn't it? Because they've changed the frequency of the games, which just means I've got longer to enjoy this. Now, the other thing is there's new modes, and that really brings new life to the game. And actually, it also gives you new reasons to have to change how you play. So we'll actually take a look at that now. So, the main ones that change how you look at the game and how you play is third person mode, and I have to say it's awesome. Like, as soon as I heard that third person was being added to Call of Duty, I was like, no, please, no, don't wreck this. But it's a playlist on its own, and it's not replacing it as a first person shooter, okay? And that's the first thing, that's like the elephant in the room, first thing I need to address with this. It brings a whole new depth to the game, and it allows you to play pre-peeking corners and things. Basically, Call of Duty has added aim wall hacks to it for you. You can peek around corners before going in, but they can as well. But it feels like a completely different game. One thing I noticed with that though, for some reason, hipfire seems less accurate. I don't know if there's a reason for that, like maybe it's based off the camera, because the camera's further back from, and not from the muzzle of the gun or something. But it might have just been me. I don't play a lot of third person games, so I can't tell whether that was just something I was thinking. Like the new modes, Knockout and Prisoner Rescue, those had, like, it basically brought a brand new focus to teamwork, because you can't just lone wolf these modes. Or you maybe can on Knockout, but definitely not Prisoner Rescue. And that, to me, felt great. Made me feel lonely because I had no one to play the beta with this weekend, but it felt great because it forces you to work as a team. And the games we lost was where we didn't play as a team, and the games we won was when we did. More so than pretty much any other Call of Duty. But it wasn't about the kills, it was about the teamwork that made you win. So yeah, that focus on teamwork I found great. I just hope that when I'm playing with randoms, you do that, get the like the communication stuff you need. If you think about like why I sort of stopped playing like Apex for a while, it was because playing with randos was tedious. But there's other modes to play, so it won't turn me away from Call of Duty. I'll still just shred it up on Team Deathmatch or Domination or anything that we're used to. Now, I also think that the bigger modes, like Ground War and Invasion, will definitely bring in some of the Battlefield fan base that are feeling a bit disgruntled with it at the minute. Like, I thought Battlefield 2042 were going to be great. Never really... I've played most of the Battlefield games that have come out like since I've been a gamer, but I've never been a huge Battlefield fan. But I didn't like the last couple of Call of Duties. I went over, played the beta, it seemed great, it came out and it were awful. So I think those fans who are feeling a bit let down and stuff, they're going to come over to Call of Duty because there's Battlefield type modes. That also opens up the door for a lot more content in terms of vehicles. And we're going to take a look at the content now. So we're here over in the weapons tab, taking a look at the new features. So there's been a complete overhaul with the way that the weapon progression system works and how you unlock guns, and a huge overhaul with perks as well. So now you get 4 perks and you unlock them in game, and you also unlock weapons through a slightly different progression system. Now, unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, it's too big to cover in this video, but basically, like, it all branches off and things. If you want an in-depth look at that, I have another video set up that explains more about the perk system and the weapon progression system. So that's going to be linked in the description for you guys. So head on over and watch for a much more in-depth video on that. But that covers it all. But in a nutshell, just a complete overhaul and things work a bit differently. We've got a lot of familiar score streaks or kill streaks because, you know, you can actually have them as both. We've got some new ones as well, like the cluster mine, the bomb drone, but that's basically just an airborne RCXD. Mortar strikes are different to how they've previously been, and what was usually the mortar strike is now the SAE and things, but that's all covered in the other videos, so head over there. In terms of other content, we've got more vehicles than usual, and honestly this is like now paralleling like Battlefield for the vehicles available. So none really, apart from no airborne assault vehicles really. But I suppose that's what kill streaks are for. It'd be kind of pointless having kill streaks that people have to grind for if you can just jump in one. We've got the ATV and the UTV, which are fairly like well known. They've been in Warzone for a while now. This tactical vehicle though has a 50 cal machine gun. It's actually a beast on the battlefield. It's great, and that's the first time we've really had a like aggressive vehicle, unless you just run people over. We've got our hatchback and our SUV. Again, you can find those around the map. Same with the cargo truck. But stuff like the heavy tank, light tank, and the APC are all new. Definitely add to the ecosystem and make like the larger war zones more interesting. And then we've got stuff for transportation of troops like the light helo and the heavy chopper over large distances relatively quick. And actually those can make all of a difference when planning an attack. I reckon that when you get communication going in the games and stuff, it's gonna make a huge difference. And we also have water sections, so we've got like the RHIB inflatable one. Sorry, it kind of glitched when I tried to show that then. And the armoured patrol boat, which also comes mounted with a 50 cal machine gun. So yeah, complete overhaul in terms of like the versatility of the vehicles and things. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that actually plays out. The other content we've got to look at is all the characters. So we've got a guy called Konig, got a guy called Gus, looks like a guy you'd expect to be called Gus as well, Zimmo, Cleo, and then we've got like the Spec Growl guy. But I'm guessing that that's like the equivalent of Milsim, if that makes sense. Just with the customization and the patches, it all seems like general army grunts. And then we've also got like these returning characters. We have, don't know if there's another skin. It don't give me a customization option, but obviously with me having the Vault Bundle, these are the skins you get with it. So we got Price and Farah returning from Modern Warfare 2. We're also seeing Ghost again and Soap. So this is interesting, but it must mean, considering they died in the Modern Warfare original trilogy, that this is set before that. If not, we might find that they still survived and things, because the timeline's all a bit murky, because people reckon that Ghost is still alive and didn't die when Shepard betrayed him, but there's nothing set in stone. We also have Kortak. So we have Fender, Hutch, Karangi, Nova, and Kortachi. Well, Kortach 1. So yeah, obviously because we don't know much about like the story or anything yet, I'm guessing these guys actually take part in the story, just like the characters you could play as in Modern Warfare 1 or Modern Warfare 19, I should say. So we've got those as well to keep the content interesting. So that's what we've got for that. As for any other content, really, obviously we've got a vast array of guns and things, all of which have been covered in my other video, but we've got I'm only giving the base weapons here, but for at the minute there's variants of the M4 such as the M16 and the SMG, which is the FSS Hurricane. We've got the Lachman, which is a Heckler and Koch platform. That's then changing. So that's a battle rifle, the 7.62, but then you get the 5.56 version AR and the MP5, for example. We have the TAC 56, which is what you guys all know as the Scar, I suppose. Fennec 45 makes a return. We've got the Expedite 12 shotgun, so 12 gauge. The Sakin MG38. Lockwood Mark II, which is the underlever sort of rifle from Modern Warfare 1. So people still think a Mark II is returning, but that's what the Mark II is. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it'll be. We've got the Signal 50. We've got Glocks making a return. It's the X12 and X13 Auto. And the Pillar and Joker have come back in the game. For more info on that though, definitely head over to the other video in the description because I've got more time on there to actually explain it all. So yeah, that wraps it all up for the content that isn't the game modes, which we've already been through. So yeah, we'll get back to it. So yeah, overall, this Call of Duty seems really fucking solid. Like, the new audio engine is way above anything I've ever played. I mean, the graphics are a bit mundane, but it fits with the Modern Warfare style, so I'm not going to complain about that. The gameplay is great, feels very different with that time to kill, but I don't know, there's pros and cons to everything, like I say. You know, if you've got your positioning, it's really easy to get like multi-kills and things, but at the same time, it only takes one shot from maybe 2 different players and you're gone. The new modes, though, are breathing new life to the game. Like, Ground War and Invasion, definitely really fun. If you want to try some target practice at long range and develop your skills and accuracy over a longer range and bring the marksman and battle rifles into a class of their own. The addition of third person is also going to give me a chance to try out something different and stop things feeling really interesting, I guess. Stop them feeling interesting? No, the other way around. Stop things feeling boring and, yeah. The new modes that focus on teamwork, like Prisoner Rescue and Knockout, is brilliant. And this is only the tip of the iceberg. This is the beta. You know, there's loads of content just in the beta. With the new modes, all the stuff I've just been through with the operators and the perks and the creator class. And if the beta feels this good, and I've not noticed any, maybe a few ragdoll issues and things, but nothing game breaking or anything. A couple of crashes as well, but that's not actually happened in the game. That's happened when I've been in lobbies and creator class and things. All that's going to get fixed. It doesn't feel like a buggy mess. It's nothing like Battlefield 2042 when it released. That said, the beta felt fine to me, so could be wrong there. I could be eating my words in a few weeks. Because it comes out next month, so like in a month and a half, I might be regretting hyping this up, but I'm hoping not. But everything feels great. The new progression system and everything, yeah. So guys, I want to get a discussion going here. Tell me what you think, because I'm really impressed. More impressed than I thought I would be, and the longer I've gone on playing this, the more I've started to like it. Yes, I've had to change my playstyles, but yeah. The only thing I can fault is the fact that there isn't like more movement available to deal with camping and things. You never know. But it is what it is, I guess. It feels incredible. I'm absolutely loving this, and I'm hoping you guys are too. So let me know in the comments what you made of the beta. What are you hoping to see when the game comes out as well? Like, I for one would absolutely love, like, well, it's already there. You can see it all classified in the creator class, all the classified attachments and things. So there's already going to be loads of customizations for the guns. I did feel restricted in the beta, but it is the beta. The more they have in the beta, the more there is to go wrong. So it is going to be what it is. But in terms of features, I don't think anything's going to be lacking. I'll love it all. So yeah. Well, seriously guys, get in the comments. Let's get this chat going. Tell me what you think.